welcome back to another episode of the Geek Podcast.
This is your host, Charlie Radio Williams, and this is Sean Luke.
Welcome back to another episode of the Geek Podcast.
What's up, Geektopians? You know what, Sean? I realized that there's 2 episodes ago, I think it was the episode with Law or with Tone, we were bobbing, or I was bouncing to the music, and then when I did the edit, I forgot that our theme song is edited in over the sound of the countdown, and so it's 2 different sounds in total. It's just 2 different.
Oh, that's just horrible.
Yeah. So, and I realized that, like, oh, I can't even talk about the countdown music here. So, with that being said, wait, go ahead.
Isn't that kind of good? Isn't that kind of good? This way we don't get copyright stricken or something?
I mean, I don't know. Is it good? Well, it's StreamYard. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are using StreamYard. It's been a long day for us both. And we just want to get this show started. So, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of the G's for Geek podcast. I'm your host, Charlie Radio Williams.
And this is Sean Luke.
Okay. And before we get started, I just want to say thank you guys for just watching our YouTube shows. Thank you for listening to us on Spotify, Instagram, iTunes, Stitcher, and now we're on Facebook Podcast. We're working to bring you more of ourselves, the 2 geeks, more Geektopian content, as well as just more awesome guests. Everything from photographers to writers to comic book artists to
voice actors.
Yeah, voice actors, vloggers, Twitch streamers. So we're
trying to bring everybody into our spectrum of Geektopian.
Right. It's all about us just shooting the shit. Just shooting the shit. That's what we do. We shoot the shit every week.
That's the goal, to shoot the shit and make sure our shit flies.
Yeah. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring our guest who's been on the show, I believe like once or twice, or he's been on once and then he's done some projects with us. And of course, you know, we've already had 2 others of the trio of the nerds of the round. So it's about time that we bring back on Sebastion Bonet. Are you ready, Geektopians? Let's do this.
What's up, Geektopians? What's up, guys? This is your boy Sebastion, the least favorite member of Sketchfed, because I know who Charlie's favorite is. I know who Sean's favorite is. Those are
nah. See, you gotta understand. We have to make sure those are the favorites because you stand above the rest.
Oh damn! I can't wait for them to see that. They're like, okay, we're gonna come back if you guys want some shit. Just invade. No, yes. I'm waiting for those Austins to pay me back for it. No, seriously though, thank you guys for having all 3 of us on. The interviews have been awesome. Again, big shout out to Tony and Law because again, that's the nerd fam right there, bro. And big shout out to Jess because nothing is nerds of the round without Jess. But yeah, I just wanted to come pick on you guys.
Literally just celebrated an anniversary, right?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, congratulations.
7 years, and she hasn't murdered me yet, but she's in the other room watching the murder shows right now. So you know, if I disappear,
congratulations on surviving another year.
I want to get this out the way now. Yes, Law is my favorite. Law, if you're watching, Law, you know you're my creative twin, Law, my creative twin. All right. I would love to have you and Jesse on at the same time, so that way we could kind of learn about Jesse. She's the unseen one.
She's the unsung hero.
She's the unseen warrior. I mean, you see us 3 coming down, and the guy trying to come in, and then all of a sudden she's gonna come up behind you, clack clack. That's it, you know.
Yeah.
Like
oh my gosh.
Assassin.
Listen, she got that hardcore style mentality too. So you got to be real careful. Right?
Sean's met Jesse. That's it.
We'll book you both one, and we'll have a deep Irish for romance Geektopian episode.
The Valentine's episode. There we go.
Hey, hopefully I'll have a girlfriend by then.
I'm not promising anything like that.
Hey, Sean, high spirits. All right, 2021 is not over yet. All right.
I said hopefully. I literally said hopefully.
It's okay. Comic-Con should, if they're doing speed dating, we'll get you in there. It'll be a Geektopians presents Quickotopians exclusive.
You know what? If they allow us to record this,
Oh, that'd be
I'll
great.
do it.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
Mm.
children of all ages, we're going to be taking Sean and Horriman out at New York City Comic Con for $1.
Yeah.
And a quick peek at the calendar goods. You can have a piece of the Acevedo.
And for good measure, because I'm beating him to the punch right now, I will. And I can't believe I'm saying this. I will wear the Speedos to the auction.
Oh,
Wait, are you sure about that?
I'm just saying, if we're doing this,
can you repeat that again?
If we're doing the meat market, if we're doing the meat market, I got to show off the meat.
All
and
right.
the best way to show off the meat is having these Sean Luke Speedos while holding Pastor Charles's Psalms of Geekdom.
Wow. So I was going to leave that out tonight, and I wasn't even going to start anything tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Geektopians, if you're watching, I guess this is the segment where we're going to do our plugs. This episode of the Geektopians is brought to you by Sean Speedos. You can get your pair of Sean Speedos here at Sketchfed studios.com. They come in 3 different colors. It's 3 different colors. This is the record.
That is not my body. That is not my body. However, the accuracy is scary.
Come on, yeah, because you're pretty. You've been losing weight. So this episode is brought to you by Sean Speedos, where you can get your favorite Latin lover
undergarments.
Yeah. Be sexy, be you. We have them in big, tall, small. Be on the beach. So I just wanted to plug that out there. The Sean Speedos.
I got one question. Where is the picture of that head at? Is it on the front or on the ass?
It's on the
ass. That is on the back.
Oh damn! Oh damn! So you're working on the focal point. That's it.
That's what makes it a Sean Luke exclusive. That's what makes it.
It has my trademark face apparently.
And although I don't have anything prepared for this one, but this is apparently Sean told me to just put this on screen and he'll run with it. So I'm just gonna Geektopians. I know you're listening on iTunes, Stitcher, but feel free to at some point jump over to YouTube.
Watch the episode.
Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you Pastor Reverend Radio Williams and his Psalms of Geekdom. Going to be on sale very soon on the Sketchfed Studios website. It will be a book. It will be an audio book.
Oh, wow.
And featuring some of Pastor Radio Williams's greatest and most influential geekdom comments.
Such as there was nothing wrong with the snap. Thanos is correct.
Well, after watching What If, that's a whole different story.
Listen. As long as like the psalm that's in there is "Thou shalt not rub one out while doing the snap."
I have nothing on that one. I'm just going to get that off the screen.
Listen, there's a whole different there was a whole memes about that. Like people just doing crazy shit during the snap.
Oh man.
Can we take a moment and just recognize that this looks like a propaganda poster?
Yes.
Oh man, I feel like
it really does.
Yes,
right?
it does. And
I feel like
this is crazy because you're the one that did it.
Yeah.
I feel like you're gonna sell me insurance or snuff my life away.
I mean,
what?
I mean, sell you the insurance, then snuff your life away. Because
it does have that
insurance.
Cold War, like tyrannical. Yeah. That's gonna be the poster of my comic.
Like
right there.
Tacos or I murder you. I don't know.
Exactly. I have no problem with that.
I am in deep thought in that poster. It's very much deep thought. All right, Sebastian. Now that we have
What up?
on.
Yes,
Welcome
the least favorite murmur of the nerds. Thank you guys. I'm back.
Apparently, according to the other two, you guys are equal partners in your Nerds of the Realm podcast.
Oh yeah, it's equal chaos. Do you guys not know that? Equal chaos.
I don't know.
I
barely get any recognition on this show, so I don't know what it means to be an equal partner.
It's called tons of love, beer, drinks, and eating a lot of food together. That's it, and that's all it is. Equal chaos.
Can we step back for a second? What do you mean you don't know about equal love? I show you love all the time. I'm offended. I am hurt. I don't know what to say. Hey, Sebastian, we're taking auditions.
I knew it. I was waiting. Kelton.
I'm taking auditions.
Yeah, there's a problem with that now that I actually have the power.
Oh,
so
man.
at any point in time, I can literally just remove you like this. And
yo, I'm glad I'm the one to be on the episode when you both have the power. Oh,
so now that we got that little tussle out the way, Geektopians, Sean now has power to remove me off screen.
But I will, unlike you, I will not abuse that power. Because unlike you, I believe in equity and fairness.
Oh, it doesn't matter to me. I take someone off the fucking screen all the time. And even though I gave them a power, because I was like, oh, you know what? You gave us too much power. I was like, yes. Fuck it. That's it. Let's have fun.
But let me ask you now, gentlemen, since we've all had the power, how good does it feel to send somebody back to the green room? How good?
It's fun. It's fun until they send you back.
Exactly.
It makes for some good TV because it's all like fun and games. Like, wow, for me it was fun with the minute that I gave Tone and Law that power and they do it, and I'm just like, yep, let's have fun. Let's have fun. Then it tells me I don't have to control shit anymore.
Oh, wow. I feel like the Geektopians, when they see the episode, they're like, Charlie, you're a jerk. Like, stop.
Yeah, they do. People look at us like, dude, no, you're like, no, dude, we're having fucking fun. This is what we do. That's it. It's just friends ribbing friends. That's all it is.
Whoa, let's clarify this. I don't care if Sean has fun. I'm having fun. In that moment, of course you would. Me sending him to the back is amazing. It's just
a
amazing.
Torturous feeling.
It's euphoric. It's I can't. It's like if you had several donuts or chocolate, or it's just one of those things.
I had to give Tone and Law that power because sometimes I kind of go off the rails sometimes because it's me. That's it. And I was like, you know what? Like, you got to cut me off. Cut me off right there. So that's what happens.
No, we don't. Well, we'll see. Because once again, this is day one of the Latin Lover having. Can we talk about that name?
I can't believe I agree to this.
Can we talk about the name Latin Lover?
Why?
I know me and Sebastian have some questions.
But it's not even okay. First of all, it's not even original. It's an original name. It's not. There's been many other wrestlers alone with the name Latin Lover,
but none of them was Sean Luke.
The Latin
Sean Luke, the Latin Lover.
Mm-hmm.
You got to come out with the and the Star Trek uniform too, and all that to kind of put on the Jean Luc, the representation right there, the flag and everything. Like, yay! I gotta see your wrestling matches. When you're gonna send me them videos, bro? I gotta see when you wrestle.
I thought I did already.
You know what? It's old age, man. I'm probably the oldest mofo here.
I don't have a clip. If I had a clip, I would post it on screen of Sean, the Latin Lover.
Listen, I propose this. I will go ahead. I will get a wig, and I will reprise my role as Malta Man and do a photo shoot with Sean as the Latin Lover, and we will be Latin Arrasa right there, and just like tag team right there with it, like, hey, Malta Man. For those that don't know, that's it.
Malta Man.
The Malta Men.
Geektopians, I failed you, Geektopians. So Sebastian has this photo of him with curls, right? With long, luxurious, down to his shoulders curls. And I saw this photo and I said, I need to get this photo and create a West Coast album. And I couldn't find it. I was stalking his gram, I was stalking his Facebook. I can admit that here. And I just could not find this photo. And I didn't want to reach out to you and be like, hey, Sebastian, where's that photo at? So that way I can do this because I want it to be a surprise.
You could have reached out to Tone and Law. I'm pretty sure they give it to you in a heartbeat.
Probably. You know what? That was
that's why you need a Tone on your team, because Tony, he is Mr. Deep Dive and Mr. Recon.
That was the last thing on my mind. But ladies and gentlemen, I do want to share this photo of Sebastian. This is Sebastian when he was He was auditioning for Xena the Warrior Princess as a, what was it, thug number 1, thug number 2. And tell us about this outfit, sir. Tell us about all of this. And he made sure he did it with the tattoo side face for it. Please tell us about this, sir. Tell us.
All right, that was Halloween in California. The friends, me and my wife. She was dressed up as Xena, the warrior princess. I was Ares, the god of war. She actually put the costume together, like the studs on the leather vest right there. So I'm actually wearing a leather vest, pleather pants. I got my boots, and then I had those like little things that go over the boots and all that. So I was just rocking as Ares, the god of war right there. We were just kicking it. And as you can see, Ken from Street Fighter with the hillbilly in the back taking a look at that with that stance. Look, come on, look at that. Look at that. I'm Doug number 14.
Ladies and gentlemen, screw that. Let's zoom in.
And look at the hair. Look at the hair. That's when I had my long hair.
There
look at that.
There it goes. The serious, but do you see the seriousness of this man's face as he is in character? do you see? I can see the Aries. All right, I can see it. The seriousness of this man's face. All right, zoom back in one more time. There we go. The seriousness. Look at that. Look at that.
I mean, to be fair, I was already half drunk in this picture, so it was a lot of we played, what was it, shot roulette and all that. So
oh my god, why would you do that?
Young and dumb.
Listen, let's talk about young and dumb. I did that like a few months ago. Talk about young and dumb.
Tell you, I don't. And then lastly, the last photo I will share with you, Geektopians, of Sebastion, because we have questions about this one too, right? So this was a recent photo that was taken of the nerds of the round. Yeah, that might be Vin Diesel in the background. Why do you three look like a mafioso movie in the making?
So,
I mean,
Tone has the Cuban mustache. All right, Law. Perfect Law. Always look at that beard. That beard that Law has is just perfect.
I feel like this is borderline
he
creepy.
So there's a lot of going on with this one. So it was the first time that we all got together since me and Tone moved down here. We did an all white shoot. It was just the nerds getting together, having a couple of drinks. Tone was being Tone Master. He was being Grill Master that weekend. We were all chilling and everything. It was like, the girls were like, hey, you guys do like a photo shoot, do the whole white shoot, because I think it started either I was wearing white or we made a joke and we're like, you know what, let's just make this happen. So we got the hats and everything. So we were good with that. And then that was also the week that the Vin Diesel memes were coming out. And it was at this point that Law was just like, yo, I'm just tired of these Van Diesel memes because I kept on blowing up the chat with them. He's like, yo, so I just thought it would be funny. Because and then I so happened to find the picture of Van Diesel in the wife beater, the white beater, made the photo black and white, and then added Van Diesel in the background entitled "Fam," because we are family, and it just like it fit, and it was like that point when Law's like, I hate you, but I don't, and I was like, I had to do it, and I posted it on the Nerds. Like I was like, you know what, it's a meme, but it's like, it was a great weekend. We had a great chill shoot. We didn't get to shoot any real live audio that we wanted to do, but it was like, just catching up, gaming and everything and all that. Not a game like this. We're playing card games and everything, but it was the shit, man.
Oh, okay. So Sean, wait, are you going to?
So yeah, I decided to torture myself and show you my first professional match, if you will.